Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bonnet. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Hello. Hi, you guys. This is one of those impromptu and special edition lives. I am like super rested, seated, in my bed, and trying to deal with these allergies. To be honest with you, it's rough out here in these streets. Okay, so I figured, all right, this story got sent to me, and the person whom I will not name but have shared a variety of experiences within the past, both traumatic and otherwise, has, made it a point that I should be bringing this topic to the forefront, and we should have a conversation around this topic as it relates to the community as a whole. You guys know that I'm the person that holds people accountable across the board. I believe in having accountability conversations, regardless of what those conversations may entail, when it comes to issues that may affect or do affect directly people who are members of the Black and Brown community in America, and to be honest, anywhere. So, if you are a first-time viewer, welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson. I am Dr. Jefferson. I am super excited to be able to bring you guys these conversations around accountability. And I'm going to be honest, this is an issue that's quite sensitive for me. I have listed my disclaimer already because obviously I'm prior service military and have long ties and affiliations with the federal government. And I feel like, some things are definitely going to be off limits. So there are going to be some areas that I don't necessarily delve really deeply into during this conversation, but I'm definitely going to do my best to do my due diligence and hold this individual accountable because it's necessary. So, man, all right. So apparently there was a guy, and this guy was an officer in the military. This said officer in the military has had several entanglements with several different women, and his several entanglements led to him being identified as a person who took advantage of several women over the course of, I think they said 10 years total. And there were 3 particular women in question who exposed him. So this is, he's an Army Lieutenant Colonel. Good grief. So for those of you who are prior service, that's an 05 position. That's my retirement position. So it kind of hits home in a different way, just going to be honest. But yeah, so the young lady, Chelsea Kernut, is the woman. She's the side chick, which is really interesting to me. Like I found this to be very interesting as I was reading it. So she goes looking for this guy. His name is Richard Kane Manster. the day before her due date for their baby. Mind you, this guy, he's married the whole time. Accountability here, okay? This is a very common thing. This is a very common, it's more common than not. When she contacted this guy's military unit, they to tell them that, she wasn't talking to him, she needed to talk to him immediately. She hadn't talked to him in 48 hours, and their baby was due. She was having contractions, she was in a lot of pain, etc., etc. um the phone was, passed from person to person, and the staff sergeant and first sergeant and everybody's trying to account for what's going on, because they're thinking, hey, well, Mansteer is married, so maybe it's his wife. And so they respond to her as if she was the wife. And, they're like, well, he's on leave. He wasn't there. Okay. He wasn't at work. He was on leave. Now, when they responded with this particular name, she knew the name because while she was pregnant and in a relationship and allegedly engaged to this guy, his wife called her. And I think the call from his wife came somewhere around February. Now, says that, so let me and this is June. This is a recent story, you guys. This is a recent story. This just happened like literally last month, not even a full on month ago when he was exposed. So let me read you guys the stories from the dailybeast.com. It was published on the 2nd and updated today on the 3rd. So Chelsea didn't plan to spend the day before her baby was due driving 16 hours, right? To bang on the door of her fiance's parents' house. A fiance, and you knew the guy was married by now. So according to her, she met the guy 19 months ago. And they started an IG messaging thing, the two of them. And she found out from him that he was in the United States Army serving as a lieutenant colonel. And everybody called him Kane. So he was 10 years older than her. Now, I know that you guys know on my commentary on yesterday's show, I mentioned that, there is something wrong with Kevin Samuels telling these men in their 50s to go out there and vet relationships, full-on relationships with women in their 20s. I said that. Whole creed. That was me. By the way, here I am. However, I don't think a 10-year differential between ages, male to female, is a huge deal. But now I'm really starting to think that maybe in this generation of young women, it may be an issue. Okay? So let me move on. The guy lived 600 miles away from her. She knew he had two sons, according to a conversation with him from a previous marriage. So she's thinking the guy is divorced, he's got two sons, but she was okay with having a long distance relationship with this dude who lived 600 miles away from her. That to me raises a couple of eyebrows, okay? So, they started flirting and all of that good stuff because they met in December of 2019. You know, she met him in Fort Bragg on her drive home to meet her parents and everything. Like, he said that he was moving to Virginia, according to a story that he had told her, and she offered to move in with him. And so he was like, yeah, no, but I'll get you a place off post. So he gets her this townhome, rents her a townhome for her to be living in. And she's saying that over the course of them being quote unquote engaged, he stopped by several times to see her. Like, he's seeing her quite frequently, attending to his marriage to be, I guess. Okay. But now, all of a sudden, June 7th, he stopped, right? And this is the day before the due date of their kid. Couldn't talk to him. And like I said, this is now when she's called his unit and they're like, he's on leave, and finds out from the woman that they addressed her as, which is his wife's name, that, you know what? He may be out of town waiting to appear on our divorce because we're going through a divorce, but we're still very much married. You know what I mean? Because she calls up the wife with no hesitation. She's like, hey, listen, I know you might hate me because, like, I'm the new chick in his life or whatever. You guys got to stop doing the craziness. I just don't understand. But anyway, get back to this. According to her, this guy had told her a series of lies around the fact that he was deployed mysteriously, but he wasn't deployed because she kept seeing his vehicle. And even one of the times she saw him actually getting into his vehicle. And she says that he made her feel like a nut. Wacko. Completely. This is after, of course, he moved her closer, which is like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking? Now, I'm not really sure about the logistics of what actually was going on here because there are a couple of things that look very fishy to me on the back end, kind of doing my little investigation and stuff like that. But I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be transparent. It's not good for you to get in a relationship with a person that has affiliations with the military unless you're full on sure as to what their engagements look like, and because that's a very difficult life to be in, especially when we're talking about somebody with high levels of security clearance, officers, and things like that. You need to know what you're getting into. All right, because that comes with certain things, and some of us, we have restricted information and insight that we can provide to people around us, family members, close, intimate people. So, you know, I've always had a thing. Just stay away from military people altogether. You know, let us dwell in our own circle where we really understand the full capacity of us and our issues. Okay. However, this guy told a lie to her, said he was deployed, and during this time, this is during time while she's pregnant now, a couple of months ago, and he tells her that he had broken his foot and was forwarded to Germany, which that happens in Frankfurt. They see us at the hospital after deployment. If he was in Kuwait, really, that's a real thing. But says that he was in Germany getting his foot looked at, and boom, she sees him getting into a car. Dude, in his Jeep. Just stop. But so then that's when he gives her the story, and he's like, oh man, you're just insecure. It's your pregnancy hormones or whatever. Like, I came home early to surprise you, but now you know what? Cat's out of the bag, bitch. Like, you ruined the surprise. Like, terrible. Right? So got her feeling bad and everything. She was like thinking to herself, okay, let me toss this in the back of my head. I've been cheated on a couple of times in relationships in the past. Maybe I am becoming a bit overzealous. Maybe it is me. Gaslighting. Dude's a narcissist. 100%. Like, oh my God. But so, anyway, she continues the relationship with him. She's pregnant by him. The woman calls her up one day, which is how she had the wife's phone number in the first place. But the wife had called and left a message when she was curious about whether or not her husband was cheating, and this was months ago. But she never entertained it, never called her back. He gave her some sob story about the fact that she was a crazy stalker chick or whatever, and she let it go. Here's the thing, ladies. Let me give you a quick little snippet of accountability for personal self, right? You never let it go. You always find out the details, whatever the details are. And let me tell you something. If he's Secret Services or something like that in the military, then it's going to be a great cover story. It's going to be believable. But either way, you got some truth, some level of truth. The book's not open, and unresolved things aren't there. So at least you got something out of it, right? The reality is this: oftentimes, women don't do their due diligence. You don't hold men accountable. You put up with way too much, and then you get upset when things aren't going your way, when you find out that you're the side chick and you're not even the main chick, but you're the one with the suspicions out here in these streets. Okay, then you find out, you know what? I'm not even the only I'm not even the only side chick. Like, there are several of us. We're a whole community of side chicks out here. So My thing is this. I feel like oftentimes women allow men to get away with too much, and as a result, they feel so guilty that they now have to shame the man for the things that they are doing. Here's the thing, ladies, you can't do that. So I'm definitely gonna hold Kane here accountable for his promiscuous actions and him being in too many different vaginas at one time and him being in too many different places at one time and got too much going on at once. I'm definitely going to hold him accountable for that. But as Kevin Samuels would say, he was exercising his options for sure. For sure. So let's get back to this story, okay? So apparently, she is upset. So they say that, hell has no fury like a woman scorned. So now she wants him to burn. Okay. She shows up at his house, that 16-hour drive or whatever that was, showed up at his parents' house because when the wife said, "Oh yeah, he might be out of town because we have to make an appearance on, our divorce for the first time, so his probably at his parents' house and blah blah blah." So she pulls up to his parents' home and calls inside and tells the parents, "Well, you know what? I'm going to burn this bitch to the ground if you don't send your son out. Send him out. I'm pregnant. Our baby's due like literally tomorrow, and he's evading his responsibilities as a father to be." And he's they call the police. She's made a terroristic threat to burn their house down as a result of her not getting an answer from her baby daddy that's inside of their house. So they call the police. Police come. She shows them a lease agreement with both their names on it and some pictures of them together and all of that good stuff. Huh. So police officers go to him and they're like, "Hey, do you know this woman? This is her name. This is how she says she knows you, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "No, I don't know her. She's a crazy woman. She's probably just stalking me." Now, mind you, there is another woman. Plot thickens. There is another woman in the house, in his parents' house with him currently. There is another woman in there. Yep. Different one, too. Whole different woman. It is. This guy has 3 kids already. You're unraveling all the lies. All the lies. So here's the thing. I figure from listening to this story, looking at this story, looking at the content, doing my research, this chick knew he was lying about how many kids he had. He said he had 2 sons. She said she was doing some research and she found that he mentioned he had a daughter. So then he's like, "Well, no, I don't have a daughter. I had a daughter from my ex wife, but the daughter died." Right? Daughter never died. Daughter's all the way alive out here in these streets. So, ladies, the accountability really goes towards you. You can't possibly find yourself engaged thinking that you're going to get married to a person and you barely know anything about them, especially men in the military. How is it that he had 3 women in limbo at the same time? How he wasn't even cute. He wasn't even cute. I'm lying. He may have been a little sexy or whatever, but still, he's got all of you in limbo, and you have no idea about the other girl or the next girl. And then you get a call from the other one and you dismiss her. It's your fault that you're caught up in this mess, and now you're pregnant with him having his another baby. Another baby. Women, you got to do better. By the way, Kevin Samuels, you need to pick up this one. I need to at Kevin Samuels. Tag him. Because this is actually a white woman, not a black one, but happens every day in the black community. Men lie sometimes. They do. And when they do, they take you down a whole tunnel. Some of the things are just unbelievable. However, in this conversation, I want to hold Colonel Kane accountable. Here's the thing, my guy. You're making us look bad out here in these streets. If you're going to tell a lie, get your life straight. Make sure that your battles are on board, that they're going to cover for you. Make sure you have a cover story, and make sure you don't have the numbers going directly to the unit where these women can get reliable information about your reality. Okay, good grief. So anyway, she's driven 16 hours to this guy's parents' house, 2 a.m., having to parents having to call the cops or whatever. And he's like, how does she even know that I'm here? She's like, well, I knew his ass ain't have nowhere else to go there besides his parents' house. Boo, you didn't know anything, because he could have been at that other chick's house, but instead he had the other chick with him inside of the house. And the police officer, actually, I don't even know if police officers are like sworn to secrecy or whatever, but the police officer is super petty. He's a dude, and he gave this girl the name of the other woman that was in the house. Man, talking about getting down first, right? That's what they call it in New Orleans when you snitching. Oh my God. The cop snitched. He snitched. He did. And here's the thing. Bigger issue is this cop. He let this woman go that threatened to burn down the house, even though she denied it. But he let this woman go. And you gave her the name of the other chick, so you technically set this guy up. What is this, a jealousy thing or something? Like, guys are sometimes becoming more petty than one can understand at this point. Everybody, my kids are out there, were so loud with these fireworks. But so yeah, that's that part of the story, you guys. I just don't know. And the crazy thing is that, like, the chick that was staying with him in his parents' house was an other chick that the wife identified as, I think it was Jessica or something. But Jessica is a person that, after she learned about this girl, which was pregnant and due to have his baby the next day, and she learned about the wife, they get together, they band together, the three of them, to like bust him. And so they go to his unit. You guys know about IG if you're military, okay? Good God, it's terrible. You do not want IG in your business. You just don't. Hey, what's going on, Lisa? How you been? But so you never want IG in your business. So they take the information to his unit. The military UCMJ does not take lightly to adultery. It's against the law of the military. Forget a civilian law, okay? The laws of the military will have you being an entire slave, like you don't get paid to work. Anyway, there was some hush story given to the girl, so I can wrap this up. Says there is some type of a hush story given to the girl by the guy's unit and IG, saying that they were looking into it, that he had been suspended from his position while they look into the allegations. Let me tell you something. We don't get suspended from our position. We don't. Article 15s may come about, maybe a thing, but we don't get suspended. Who suspends anybody? That's awesome. Oh, really? Thank you. I appreciate the love. You should have shared the live with me. Matter of fact, send me a link or put the link here so I can go check it out. But so they gave her this BS story that they were investigating, and that they had suspended him or whatever from his position, which was a total lie. I'm pretty sure. I'm convinced. And she took it for what it is. But this girl is a woman scorned. She did have their baby. She gave birth to their baby on the 13th of June and not the 9th as anticipated. And she says that she's, doing fine. But I'm pretty sure she's pretty fucking stressed, because that's what happens when a man lies to you and tells you that he's a single available man, and you end up thinking you're engaged and pregnant by him. And good God, men and their lies. So, ladies, moral of the story is accountability goes both ways. You got to be a better gauge or judge of character for one, and then the second part is men lie. Fuck. Verify everything. Do like thorough background checks and things like that of people. And I know it's very difficult to find reliable background information when you're looking up us. If well, depending on what security clearance level we have or whatever, and what we have going on and what our jobs are. However, protect yourself. Just stay the frick away from military men. Let them finish their tours of duty and let them do their thing and their due diligence, and it without you get done. But so definitely my heart goes out to these young ladies because all three of them have had a negative impact um from this guy. All the parties in this situation, to my knowledge, to my understanding, are Caucasian, but I don't know what the race of the other people were that he dealt with, because it was said that he was dealing with maybe up to 12 other people in his unit, and the wives or widows of other soldiers who had died in combat and things like that that served with him. He was having sex with them too, but some of them were too embarrassed to come forward and share their story and their perspectives about things or whatever with him. But I will say this, okay? Men will lie. All men will lie, whether they're in the military or not. But stay away from the military men specifically and those people who are employed by the federal government, because guess what? They have the highest propensity to lie to you. And some of them have the authority to lie to you. Like, they don't even want to lie, but they have to, because it's called undercover, deep cover, shit like that. God, man, this is a tough story, okay? But man, damn it, guy, you make us look bad. You really do. Yeah, you definitely got to check this out from the beginning. Crazy, crazy story. This guy, man, he played all these different women all at one time, had 3 kids by his wife already, and was still actively married, had been married to his wife for over 10 years. And this woman thought that she was the woman that was the main woman, and she was engaged to him, having his baby, and she was calling herself checking the wife, but the wife was the wife, not the side chick. It's crazy how those things happen, right? I think that women do a great job at doing their research until they have to do their research for themselves. So, ladies, accountability goes both ways. Make better choices out here. Don't be a fool for these guys out here in the street. Enjoy your Independence Day celebrations. I hope that they resonate with you guys in a positive way. Hopefully, this particular video has helped you to cultivate better means of moving in relationships with men who are friggin' liars, whether they're in the military or not. Okay. You said my real table talk on next Friday is about, is your spouse in someone mailbox, etc. Oh yeah, that sounds cool. You should definitely invite me. I have 2 shows scheduled for tomorrow around accountability, and one of them is around sex and love and relationships as it applies to polyamorous relationships and non-monogamous exclusive relationships. It's going to be a really good one because it kind of beckons the question of, if the sex is terrible, then do you leave? But and the other one is, of course, the founding principles of Independence Day in America as it applies to the Black Americans who choose not to celebrate because they have this conditioned element in their mind that is a lie, that it doesn't apply to them because for some reason they're not American. It's really interesting stuff. I gave an assignment earlier today, gave some information so that people could go do some further research about it. And I am going to cover that tomorrow. I'm really super excited about that. Yep. Definitely tag me. I'm here for it. But so, you guys, please do make good choices, be good to one another, and try to impact somebody in a positive way today. I feel like it was a tragic thing to hear that this woman had to give birth to a baby by a person that she doesn't even really know who he really is. And even more importantly, I think the accountability component on his parents are a piece of shit. That's it. That's all I'll say about that. But, until next time, later days. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try it, good in me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.